Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'll go ahead and give it one extra minute before we go ahead and jump into this webinar. But thanks again for joining. All right, looks like people are still jumping on, but for the sake of time, we'll go ahead and jump right in. So thanks for joining. I'm Eliza. I'm going to be your moderator today. This is going to be our webinar in collaboration with Current Renewables Engineering. Dan, you can go ahead and head to the next slide. Today we have Danny here from Enact and Jeff from Current Renewables Engineering. So Danny's going to go through a demonstration, talk about Enact, and Jeff will do the same on Current Renewables Engineering, and we'll touch on our collaboration as well, our partnership. Please feel free to utilize the Q&A box down below, send questions in the chat, and we'll have time for a Q&A section at the end of this webinar, and it will be recorded, so we can go ahead and send out the recording as well at the end. The next slide is just going to be a quick overview of what the agenda will look like. Like I mentioned, it's just going to be about Enact and about Current Renewables Engineering, and then the Q&A. So again, I want to emphasize, please use the Q&A, and thank you so much for joining. We'll go ahead and pass it over to Danny.
Cool, thanks, Liza. Yeah, just to give a brief background on Enact, we are the premium solution in the solar industry. Our platform is being deployed over 35 countries. We do about 1.5 billion proposed projects per year, and we cater to residential and commercial clients. Um, we've deployed a tool that can help eliminate site visits and get really good granular reporting prior to contract signing remotely from your office or from any Wi-Fi device that you may connect to. So you can use the tool remotely, and it is cloud-based. We're based on 3D modeling, and then we go as far as, producing any offset numbers, number of panels, and really dialing in the true potential of that roof. Along with, the physical 3D modeling, what does the site look like? What's the height? What's the pitch? And setback. We also will go into financial analysis of the project. So once we know exactly how many panels we need and what the right configuration might look like in Enact, in which you can do multiple different designs and produce different outcomes. You can also, along with that, see what those financial outcomes will turn out to be, how much money they're saving over 25 years, as well as what those year-over-year paybacks look like. That would be done through our pricing and financing to get the final numbers on everything. Cash loan, leases. I know PPAs are becoming more popular as well. And I'll obviously always the ability to get a loan as well. Then from there, we will push that through to a beautiful proposal. It's fully custom branded. Enact does work off of a DocX kind of back end, customization tool, if you will. So with it being through Word document, you can really customize any kind of marketing into your proposals, any kind of look and feel to really elevate your brand and win against competition. You don't want to have the same kind of redundant proposal that homeowners are receiving from the other solar companies out there. So we do a really good job of making your brand shine, making your proposal, stand out amongst the crowd. This is where I will pass it over to Jeff.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Danny. Hey everyone, my name is Jeffrey Frank. I'm the Director of Business Development here at Current Renewables Engineering. I'm really excited to be here today to show you how our team supports solar contractors and integrators across the country with fast and reliable engineering services. Um, so we want to really accelerate your workflow and accelerate those project timelines. Um, and at CRE, we specialize in providing structural and electrical engineering solutions. So we're licensed coast to coast, so no matter where your project is, we have that wide range of expertise around the US. Whether you're working on residential rooftops, commercial properties, or adding battery storage, we have the engineering expertise to handle that all. So we typically specialize in residential, but we also do smaller commercial projects as well, and can handle that design and engineering need that you have. So with over 200,000 permitted solar projects under our belt, our experience really allows us to anticipate those common hurdles that you may experience and streamline your permitting process from the start. So Danny, if you can go to the next slide, thank you so much. So really, our services stick into structural engineering, electrical engineering, and permit plan set design. So when this partnership with Enact is really awesome because you can go from sales proposal right over to us in solar plan set design and then structural and electrical stamping. So our expertise is really around making sure that we are accurate, we're fast, and that we make sure that you have the support you need and the communication you need to be successful. Because there's nothing more important when you're on a job site to have that direct line of communication with your engineering team. So we really make sure that that's a streamlined process that you can rely on and you can expect and set yourself up for success. Why contractors really trust us. We've worked with hundreds and hundreds of contractors all over the United States. So really what helps us stand apart from in the industry is our fast turnaround time. We really try to keep that as short as possible. So with stamping, we average 59% under 5-hour delivery. And like I said, we work on a lot of different types of structure types. So from your standard rafter and truss to metal framing to ground mounts, custom AHJs. We know there's a lot of AHJs out there and jurisdictions that make it a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. But we've been working with them aligned to make sure that we can streamline that process for you. So like I said, our communication and our turnaround time are very important. We know how important it is to you in getting these projects through permitting. We also put in a strong emphasis on software and API integrations so that we can take your existing process and help streamline that for you and make our systems talk together. So with that AHJ expertise, we're really ready to help you. So really, we'll focus on your turnaround time, your communication, and then make sure that you have accuracy to pull that permit. So Danny, if you can go to the next slide for me. Thank you. So we make the registration process. So how to get started with us is really easy. So right on the Enact portal, there'll be a little button that you can hit that will connect you right to our registration page here. We're just going to ask for some basic information from your first name, last name, company address, and then move you into our registration. If you can go to the next slide. So our free online portal is another thing that is really a benefit for you using us. So you can come right in to get access to our online portal. You can see how easy it is to select that new button right in the middle to order a new project. We also have our support team and our feedback team. We love to get feedback from our installers. As it comes up. So we're always trying to improve our process and optimize that for your performance. But as far as submitting a new project with us, you hit that little new button right in the middle. And Danny, if you can go to the next slide for me here. And really what that's going to bring up here is a form for you to fill out. So we're not really asking for a lot of information off the bat. What we're really looking for is your sales proposal, some site survey photos, what services you're looking for. And this submission form is short and sweet to make sure that it only takes you 1 to 2 minutes to submit a project, not 5 to 10. So really, we're needing the essential information to get started. And as you can see on the right here, that as soon as that project's submitted, our team will get to work on it right away. Your deliverables will be right in a CRE files section right there on the portal. And then communication we have built into our portal so that you can actually communicate back and forth with the engineers. So yeah, so basically the biggest thing for us is to make sure that you have everything you need to be successful. And this from PV design to structural stamps to electrical stamps. We have that whole permitting process developed in there to make sure that you can easily take those documents and take those through permit.
Cool.
So
At this
thank you.
point, I will come in and show you guys a quick demo of the actual software component. Let's see here.
While Danny's pulling that up, I just wanted to send another reminder to utilize the Q&A box if you have any questions about what Jeff and Danny just covered, and we can go ahead and answer those as well.
So I'm coming into the Enact portal right now, and I can kind of show you how we have a project created here. In Enact, once you create the actual address, you'll be able to choose from the utility company that's available based on zip code. You'll be able to choose the utility rate that is falling with that customer, and then also the territory. So these are all integrated based on the uh, local utilities that are available, but you always want to double check the customer's actual bill. So you're going to be putting in the kilowatt hour values that are displayed on the bill, and just make sure that the utility and the utility rate and territory is all equal uh, compared to the bill. We can also model any kind of interval data files. We accept 15, 30-minute, and 1 hour interval data files here, as well as being able to select what kind of load profile the customer is experiencing, whether they work from home, whether they go out to the office during the day and come back home around 3. We're going to want to choose the profile that most closely depicts the customer's lifestyle to get even more granular. So I'm going to come into the design and show how I would have designed this project. So Enact is based on remote 3D modeling based on DSM, digital surface modeling. So we're able to remotely draw out each section of this roof. And once you've drawn each roof face, you can see how that piece gets integrated into the actual house. And then I would go in and mark off any obstacles that might be relevant, any trees, if you need to draw trees that exist on the property, and then filling up the roof. Once I've filled up the roof and I'm happy with the design, then I can go in and add my inverters. You can see here that we have a lot of Enphase micros on this project. We're up to about 20.8 kilowatts, and I'm also adding 3 units, which is totaling 16 kilowatt hours in the point guard battery. For those of you that are in areas that NEM3 or areas that are important for energy arbitrage or anywhere that has TOU rates, you can model either self-consumption on batteries to see additional payback. In this case, I am saying that the battery won't drain past, say, 10%. So there's a 10% reserve, which will lower the usable capacity. So if I set it to 0, you'll notice that the usable capacity increases. But we don't ever really want to drain the battery to 0. I can also do a time-based discharge. if there's any rates that are, expensive from, let's say, 6 to 9 in this case. There's a lot of, rates that actually do have higher rates when it's, after 4 when everyone's home. So that would be a good way to set up this profile to just look at what the best payback for this project would be. We are looking at a 113% offset. If I hit shading, I can pull a shade report. I can also download this into a CAD file through a DXF. But first I will show kind of like what our shade report looks like. You can download these and it's going to show the annual TSRF on each individual roof uh, face. So we actually had up to 5 arrays here on this project. That's why it's showing me 5 different monthly values. And then from here, I can go and simulate the project, see some really cool insights on what exactly this build is doing for this customer's bills. I'm getting a 67% grid independence on this project. I'm seeing a 76% bill offset. And keep in mind, here at the top, I have numbers to look at and reference at any point. While we are seeing a 76% bill offset, we're only achieving 116% energy offset. So if you click on the down arrow, it'll also show you exactly what I've modeled on this project. So kind of as you're designing, I always love to click on that down arrow just to remind myself, what exactly am I looking at? Did I miss my battery? Did I forget to add an inverter? What's the capacity I'm looking at for this project so far? So all of that can be tracked here as you're designing. We can also expand out these charts and get really granular on reporting. All of these can actually live in your proposal when you're building out your custom branded proposal, whether you want to show every hour and month of the year on grid independence charts, when they're importing energy. I could download a 8760 file hourly production data chart. It looks like we're generating 14,712 kilowatt hours per year. But each chart's downloadable. If you notice the download arrow here, once I click that, it just downloaded a 8760 file for me to reference. But yeah, all of these can either be downloaded internally or maybe your project managers. It can also be included in your sales proposals in a customer facing kind of capacity. It's really up to you in terms of um, what you want to display on that proposal. Did my Zoom just crash?
I think we can still hear you, Danny.
Sorry, guys, my Wi-Fi is acting up.
Okay, technical difficulties, things happen.
Oh, you can? Okay. It seems to be coming back on. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Okay. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, go ahead and keep going.
Okay. I'm actually gonna try to come back out. Hopefully yeah, the last piece here is going into your custom proposal, but I'm gonna go back out and show, once you've completed the project, there's a way to easily get an integrated permitting experience. And here at the top, if you can see, current renewable energy is listed. All you need to do is click on that hyperlink, kind of as Jeff mentioned earlier, log in and submit your project through there. And that'll be the way that you would be able to get streamlined permitting from Enact all the way through to current renewable engineering. So that is all I have for you guys today. We'd be happy to take on any questions.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Jeff. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We're all familiar with that. But I do have some questions that we can go ahead and ask. I actually have one for Jeff to start, um, which is just what information do you need to produce a design?
Yeah, so we try to make it as simple as possible. We don't want to ask too much of you. So really the sales proposal is really the key piece that we would need. Site survey photos are always helpful, especially in the design and engineering process. We know that that's not always accessible to get those photos inside the attic of the roof and the main service panel. But in some jurisdictions, we can even leverage using IEBC building codes to try to get around those lack of site survey photos. But for the most part, that's really what we would need. So just a list of the equipment and basically everything included inside of your sales proposal. So we make it easy. You just upload that right on our portal, and then we get to work on it right away.
Awesome. And to follow up on that, if there are any concerns or questions before or after a project is permitted, are you still there to help out?
Yeah, of course. So like I was saying before, like we know things come up on the job site. We know things that are kind of time sensitive. So we really want to make sure that you have a direct line of communication with the engineer working on your project. So you're not going through like a third party team or a sales team or anything like that to kind of get these technical answers. You're going right to the engineer working on the project. And we have built out our engineering team to really satisfy any type of volume that you may have. So we're excited to help, and we have those lines of communication ready for you. Phone, email, chat, Slack, whatever you can imagine, we're there to help.
That sounds great. And Danny, a question for you if you can hear us. It looks like someone's wondering how to sign up for Enact. How can people sign up for the Enact software?
So you can go right up on our website, and when you go onto the website, you can book a demo with us. That'll allow us to understand kind of exactly what you're looking for, ensure that you're, getting set up and onboarded with our support team. I can quickly show you that you go into the installer part of our website, and all you need to do is just schedule a demo, book some time with us here, and then we'll get back in touch with you to get you guys set up. I will also be leaving my personal email um, in the chat for everyone in case you want to directly reach out to me. We'll also be having Jeff leave his personal information as well. Sometimes customers like to have direct, access and ways to get through to us. So I've actually dropped in my personal email as well as my personal phone number in
That's
case you want to get in touch.
great. Thanks, Danny. And Jeff, looks like question, do you offer permit running or do you just provide the permitting documents?
Yeah, so that's it. That is an exciting question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
So we have always specialized in PV design and structural and electrical stamping and all the documents that you really need to pull a permit. But coming up here in the next few weeks, we're going to be rolling out our permit running service, so we can take it from design all the way to permit and hand you back that approved permit. So it's coming soon. Keep in touch with me, reach out if that's a service you're interested in. We would definitely love to help support you there. But it's coming very, very soon, early July. So please reach out to me. I left my contact information in the chat below. And I would love to learn more about what you're looking for and how we might be able to help.
That's great. And that is very exciting. Looks like there's another question for you, Jeff, um, about for the some AHJ's permit portal to obtain permits. Will that be through Current Renewables Engineering own portal? I'm not sure if I'm relaying the question correctly. Um, are you able to see that in the Q&A?
Yeah, so we would be managing that process for you. So all the permitting services would be ordered and collected through our portal. We would have those documents available for you to download, just as the PV plan set design, as well as the structural stamp documents. But we will have that in our own portal coming soon.
Awesome. Thank you. And then maybe this is a question for both you, Jeff and Danny, but Danny, if you want to take a stab at it first, how can customers get both Enact and Current Renewables engineering services integrated? And to piggyback on that, is there a discount if you use both services?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, so the mechanism that I showed to get integrated permitting would be after signing up with Enact in our portal, when you're going to apply for plan sets with Cringe, you would click on that button and fill that form. So that's going to be the easiest way for us to know that, you're seeking out, Cringe permitting. And at that point, you will also be entitled to a discount. All Enact users, through our partnership with Current Renewable Energy Engineering, will get, I'm not sure the exact discount amount quite yet. I think we're still working and frameworking that out. But we will definitely honor additional discounting if you're using our services and going into permitting with theirs.
Awesome. Thanks for touching on that, guys. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to utilize the Q&A box. But if not, looks like we'll give you some of your time back. And I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Jeff from Current Renewables Engineering for coming on to the Enact webinar scene and helping us out today. And thank you to everybody who attended. Again, this will be available as a recording. Yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day.